Welcome to Paperback Perspectives, a podcast about books, where your hosts, Ryan, Kaylin, and Annette, give you their perspectives on all things reading. Cozy up in your favorite book nook and let's dive in. Happy New Year!
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year!
And happy episode number... chapter, I guess. 10 whole ones.
Okay, honest question. When we started, did you guys think we would actually be doing this for 10 episodes, or did we just do it on a wild lark to try once?
Okay, when we started, or like when the whole thing really just was a little inkling of an idea, I never thought that we would actually do it. So 10 episodes is crazy.
I know. Like, it was this thing like, haha, that would be fun to do.
Yeah.
I think after we did the first one, I kind of knew that this would be something that we would do like more and more. Like once we got the first one done, then I was like, okay, like this is something like I can see ourselves doing a lot.
Because it's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So welcome to Paperback Perspectives, chapter 10.
Woohoo.
Thanks to everyone that stuck with us and listened to 1 through 9.
Yeah.
And a 0.5.
And a 0.5.
Our
little
novella. You say novella? I say novella.
I don't know I don't know.
It's like how do you say like biopic or is it biopic?
What is that? What even is that?
Like a movie about like a biography.
Call that
that's
a biography.
Biopic?
I would say biopic, but I was told.
So I think the reason why I say novella
is you'd say novel.
Novel. I think that's why I do that.
Okay, but I heard this example the other day. If you go on a keto diet, you're going into ketosis, and it's not a keto diet.
Oh.
English. It's fun.
It's silly.
Maybe our English teacher friends that our listeners can let us know about
Tom,
that.
what the hell?
Tom!
Sarah, Tom.
Teach a better language.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, anyways, it's been a while since we made an episode. We last recorded on November 30th, I think it was. So it's been about a month. So we've had all the holidays and things between. How was everyone's Christmas?
It was good. A little inside baseball here. Ours is still going on. This weekend we're going up to
Why did you say inside baseball?
It's a term for like for behind the scenes stuff.
Right, it's
for our baseball readers.
I'll just shut up then.
Keep going, Ryan. I'm
Please
with
tell
you.
us. Please
We
tell
have
us.
Christmas this weekend. It's going to be fun. We get to see family. We love each other.
And we're not playing baseball.
I was like, wait, okay, but like Christmas and baseball, what?
Like inside baseball is a term for behind the scenes. We're going to go see your family, Mom, and it's going to be awesome.
Inside Christmas.
I know. I'm looking forward to this weekend very much. That'll be the big wrap on the holiday season. It's always a great time.
We do a super fun white elephant gift steely takey
that goes on for days.
Yeah, and it's super fun.
Or hours, I guess.
Yeah.
Days.
I got some cool and fun book gift things because of course like people are going to give us book gift things because we're bookish people. So all of us got a couple of things. All of us got if you've ever heard or seen on like Bookstagram or Book Talk, like the thumb holder things for the books. So if you're listening, we can put a picture up for YouTube, but if you're listening, you just put the thingy on your thumb. So you put it into the page so you don't have to like do that like Spider-Man grip type of thing with the book, and it kind of like helps with your grip on a book, especially helpful for a big book. I feel like.
Have either of you tried them?
Yes,
me too,
and I like it.
I do too.
I don't do it like the whole time because sometimes then my thumb will get tired because it's just pushing on that. But
and you have to like turning the pages is a little.
Yeah,
you have to figure it out a little bit.
I think, like I said, with big books, I think it would be really nice because sometimes that's really hard to like span them and like hold in one hand.
So thanks to John for making one and Lauren for finding them because those are they're very cool.
Yeah. And then, I don't know, did you guys both get these too? Oh, and then from Grandma Dollaslugger or
Dad's side,
we got these really cool magnetic bookmark things. We also got a magnetic bookmark from Dad too.
Magnetic bookmark clips.
Yeah, that has our name on it.
Yeah.
We are ready to mark books.
Oh, baby.
And then...
they're really cool. The designs on them are really, really
we
neat.
each got different ones. So mine has a little teapot. And one of them says Grace, which is my middle name. And I thought that was cute.
That is that Grace.
Thought that was cute.
That Grace.
What else did we...
Thanks for giving away our bank password. Just kidding.
I was like, what?
Not the password, but it's the security question that always comes up.
We got real silent there for a second. I was like,
it's not the password. It's the security question.
Did we just ruin your retirement?
I can change it. Okay.
And their routing number is...
Just in case anyone wants to deposit funds, we'll apply them to Paperback Perspectives.
There you go.
I'm sure that's how it works.
Yeah,
yep,
right.
that's exactly how it works. I got a book for Christmas. A book. Lauren got me a book that I'll talk about later.
For reading?
Can you believe it? A book for reading?
Amazing.
I can't wait to hear about it.
Yeah, it's a really fun, lighthearted romp.
Yeah,
nice.
And I think... Did you get a Barnes & Noble gift card?
I did get a Barnes & Noble gift card.
I got a Barnes & Noble gift card.
I did too. So thank you to my mother-in-law, Janet.
Yeah.
And their grandma. And so we have happy reading ahead of us.
Yeah, I brought the books that I bought.
Oh, you already bought
them?
I bought 2 of them because we went to Fargo for New Year's.
Oh, perfect.
Nice.
And so I ended up getting When the Moon Hatched, which I've heard really, really good things about.
I've heard of that, yeah.
It's on my TBR.
And it sounds
thick boy.
super good. It's like one of the highest rated like fantasy. Yeah, it's a big book. How many pages?
I have looked at that book so many times.
And the cover is so satisfying. And
actually, I think
690.
you and I almost bought that in Grand
did.
Rapids at the bookstore.
Yeah. And then, of course, it's a hardcover, but I had to get it, Somewhere Beyond the Sea, which is the second book in the House in the Cerulean Sea, whatever, the sequel.
I have
excited.
A conversation about that.
Okay.
Do you want me to talk about it now or later?
We'll get into it later.
Okay.
And it has sprayed edges. I love sprayed edges. They're kind of fun.
Those are fun.
Yeah. So that's what I got with my
I have
my
not
gift card.
used mine yet. I like to kind of dwell on it for a little bit. Like I have put things in the cart and taken them out of the cart online and
yeah.
Yep.
And can I keep talking about the other book gifts
Of
I got?
course.
Because
Go
I got
for
a
it.
lot of book gifts.
please do.
So I also we're going to dive into this a little more later too with goals for the year. I got 2 nonfiction books that I'm really excited about for like learning more about work and things that I do. So if you haven't heard from before other episodes, I'm like a pelvic health therapist. So I do a lot of women's health related things and education. And so I got the Vagina Bible, which is all about, as the book says, the
Hips.
vagina. Also hips. And then I also got the Menopause Manifesto, and they're both just really educational books about like women's health. And so I'm really excited to read those.
I'll borrow those later when you're done.
Sure. I
No,
mean,
thanks.
one of the reviews on the front says, buy this book if you have a vagina or if you spend any time at all in reasonably close proximity to one. So I think that accounts for everyone in this room. So.
I do have a wife. That is true.
Anyways, I'm really excited to read those, and I'm not going to hide those books behind a bookshelf because vaginas are important and we need to take care of them.
Little PSA from Kaylin.
Yeah. And then Sam got books. Sam, do you want to tell about them? Here's your books.
Oh, those are Sam's books?
Yes.
Okay.
I forgot I got books. Thank you for grabbing these. So the first one I got was one that Ryan read. Did you read it upon someone else's recommendation? Is that correct?
A couple of my central coworkers and I, every Halloween, will do like a little like mini book club thing where we'll just like pick a spooky book or 2 and then read them. And this was our first year, so not this year, but the year before. This was one of the choices of the spooky book. We all read it together, and I won't spoil anything for it. I liked it. There's a really interesting twist at the end that I thought was really unique, and I think you're going to like it.
I also want to read it. So I was happy he got gifted that
Get
book.
in line, yeah.
I don't.
It's
Shocking.
not like a Stephen King.
But wait, Sam, what else did you get?
A Stephen King.
Got The Institute by Stephen King. It's been on my list for a while. Roughly is about children being abducted, basically, and brought to this institute for like very special people.
It doesn't sound like one of his like super gory, freaky.
It's
like
just like psychological, probably. But yeah, it's been...
Why do you keep looking at me? You don't have... I have plenty of books.
We're trying to get you in on the Stephen King thing. And
I've never heard of that book, and I really want to read it. That's really interesting to me.
Yeah, I think it's one of his most recent ones, I would guess. But yeah, I think it's been on my TBR for a couple years now.
Nice.
But
yeah. Those were all my book gifts. Yeah. Oh, speaking of that, we got these books from Halverson Side Christmas. So
nice.
Yeah. Very nice.
Do you have any other book gifts, or do you just want to get into...
I don't think so. Not that I can think of, so I'm really sorry if I'm forgetting one, and if it comes to me, I wasn't prepared for that question.
Well, then what'd you read?
I have read a few things. That was a beautiful segue.
Look at that.
I read Oh, Jerusalem by Laurie R. King because I've been rereading that series. If you have not read a Laurie R. King book.
What is the series called?
Oh, that's really... The series is called it's the story of Mary Russell and Sherlock Holmes. I don't know what the series is called.
I like how she's like, oh, like I wasn't expecting this to be asked.
No follow-up questions, please.
Would you like to know anything about the book? Oh. Okay.
We're going to move on.
Was it good?
Because most series,
do you know if
like have a name.
We've lost her. She's gone.
Maybe she just went to a different place.
Was the book good, Mom?
Yes, it's good.
Do you want one of us to go next?
Yes, come on.
Okay, Caitlin, you can go.
Okay.
Mine will be very short.
All right. So I read, I believe I talked about this the last time. The Housemaid is Watching. I'm not even going to look at them. Lauren, make eye contact with me and don't let me look at these two. Okay. Okay. I'm prepared. I read The Housemaid is Watching by Frida McFadden, which I think she's talked about later. By you?
No.
Oh, okay. So sorry.
Oh my God.
Or
this is going great.
Can you believe this is our 10th episode? We're pros by now.
Oh, man.
Anyone that's listening for the first time, we really did do better on the first 9. We held it together much better.
Oh my God. Okay. So that one was good.
No.
It was the third book in the Housemaid series, which is the name of the series, by the way.
Whoa.
No, I'm just kidding. I actually don't know if that's what it's called. I don't even know what it's called.
Why does it have to have a name for a series?
No, it doesn't. I was just curious. Okay.
I was so taken aback by that. I've read that series like 3 times and I have no idea. I'm sorry, Laurie. I don't know the name of your series.
I don't think she's listening.
I would. Oh my gosh, I would freak if she was listening.
Can you imagine? And then she just turned it off because you didn't know the name of her series.
Oh, snap.
I have read them all so many times, but I don't know a name.
They're probably just like the Mary Russell Adventures.
Probably.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
It just says the Mary Russell series.
Perfect.
I feel better. Okay. Please,
Problem solved.
You read this book.
Okay. I've read a book. I read The Housemaid is Watching by Frida McFadden, who Ryan will not be talking about later.
Well, I will be talking about her, but not the book.
Oh, that's what I was talking about. Talking about Frida. Okay.
Oh, actually, I'm not. Never mind.
Anyways. Okay, so
Maybe.
it was really good. Typical Frida, twisty turny. It was the third book. From the first one is The Housemaid, the second one is The Housemaid's Secret, and the third one is The Housemaid is Watching. And this is like 20 years in the future, so it was kind of fun to like have that character, but in the future. Probably my least favorite of the 3, but it was still good.
Maybe should have stopped after 2, but
Yeah.
it was okay.
Yeah, it was fine. I kind of liked how it wrapped things up and like, you know, the characters where they're at now. Then I read a lot of this author in the past month because I bought, or like with Libro, they had a 3-part, like a 3-pack that you could get with 1 credit. And I was like, ooh, deal. So it was Unfortunately Yours by Tessa Bailey. And it was just a cute little romance. It was the second book in a, like, it's, you know how some romances are like, they have a series or there's 3 of them, but they're not really like, you don't need to read one to read the other. It was that. I read the first one a while ago, and it was really cute. And it was just a sweet little romance story. And then I read Fix Her Up by Tessa Bailey, which is a different one of hers from a different series. This one's they're all like themed with like construction loosely. So
it was called Fix Her Up or Fix Her Up?
Fix Her Up.
Thank you.
The series in this one is called the Hot and Hammered series.
Hey.
Okay.
They're a bit steamy, okay?
All right.
Anyways.
I never would have guessed with that series title.
I know. Yeah, so anyways, we'll skirt past that. The Body in the Library, I read next. This is kind of fun. This was my last book of the year. And when I went to log it, this is by Agatha Christie, by the way. When I went to log it, my last book of the year was Agatha Christie, and my first book of the year was Agatha Christie. Nice. And I was like, that's kind of fun.
Yeah.
And then I read Love Her or Lose Her, which is also another Tessa Bailey. It's the second one in that series. So
the Hot and Hammered series?
The Hot and Hammered series. You know, everything we read doesn't need to be educational, okay?
We listen
and we don't judge.
Okay. Just
Mom,
kidding.
do you want to keep going?
I think I can now. Except the next book I have to talk about is like super serious bring you down book.
Oh.
So I don't think we should get the giggles over this one.
Okay.
So it was very good. I read The Four Winds by Kristen Hanna. Very good book. But oh my gosh, was that heavy. It followed the life of this woman and then her daughter. And just when you thought the most horrible, awful, worst things had happened to her, more bad things happened that were even worse than before. And it just kept building that way. And I'm not going to ruin the end, but Kaylin knows what happened. And
I'm kind of pissed, and I didn't read the book.
She's a beautiful writer. The detail, the description in there. If you don't know the story, it takes place during the Dust Bowl, the Dirty 30s. And you felt like you were there. Like I felt like I had sand in my mouth and I was dehydrated and dying. It placed you there.
So now that you've had, we talked about this when you had just finished it. Now that you've had time to sit with it, do you appreciate it more or like still have the same opinion about it in terms
I
of
did really enjoy it. And to be honest, I couldn't put it down. Like it was very engaging and it was really good. I kind of walked away with the thought of, I really want to read more of her books, but I couldn't read them back to back to back.
You need a moment.
Yeah.
So Kristen Hanna
you need a Hot and Hammered in between.
I'll do it.
Is it historical fiction?
Historical fiction.
Okay,
yes.
because
very similar theme to Grapes of Wrath.
Okay.
If you're familiar with that, talked about that. The book, my mom had read the book previously and we talked about it, and it gave us a really interesting perspective in that as I was reading it, I was really realizing like, this is the daughter that's in the story was born about the same time as my grandmother. Oh. So it was like my grandma did live through those times. She wasn't in the part of the country where this takes place. And they follow the Great Migration and they go to California to find work. And the way they were treated has a lot of parallels to some things that are happening currently. And it really just tears your heart out. So
wow,
it's a really good book, but like I said, I needed some things to break it up after that. If you've read, I know Michelle, we've talked about likes Jodi Picoult a lot, and I like her books too, but I kind of feel the same way when I read her books. Like, whew, now I need a little light and just escapism.
Sometimes I struggle with books like that because my reading enjoyment and my like love of reading is that I do like escape, and I don't really have to, I'm not weighed down when I'm reading. Like I can like really let go of anything I have like weighing myself down and be like, this fairy is hot
and hammered.
That's not intellectual.
We need to let that go. Okay.
But yeah, like
it was really good though. She's a really good author, and I would like to read more of her stuff. And yes, historical fiction, very realistic historical fiction.
She had a book that came out this last year called The Women that has been like top. I'm probably going to use the Barnes & Noble gift card to get that book.
And my friend Carrie recommended The Great Alone by her, which she said is her favorite of that series, and she is probably one of her top books.
I have The Nightingale. I just haven't mustered up the gusto to start it.
Okay, there you go. After that, I read Open Casket by Sophie Hannah, not related to Kristen Hannah, to my knowledge, which until I was writing them down on my list, didn't even make that connection. But she's the one that was given permission by Agatha Christie's estate to continue writing Hercule Poirot books. And
which would be like, imagine being that author, like you get that permission.
God.
And so
Do you find, so now that I've read Agatha, do you find that like with her that she does a good job of kind of like writing like Agatha?
I do.
Fun.
I picture Hercule the same way, and some of the quirky humor things in there.
Yeah.
Do you think there was like an audition process for that? I'd be really curious about that.
I don't know that. I can look into that. That's a good question. And then the last one that I did on audio was I listened to a collection of short stories by Agatha Christie called Murder Under the Sun. And my current read, which is really good and so unique, is I'm reading Under the Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern, which is who wrote The Night Circus. And if The Night Circus is a crazy, I liked it and I hated it and I was fascinated by it book. And this one in the beginning is just like, where does she come up with these ideas? Like, it's taking place in the real world, but then it's not. And the general idea of the story is this guy finds this book in the library and realizes it's telling the story of his life with some really unique things that have happened to him. And as that's going on, there's another story going on in another place, which we know is connected, but we don't know how.
Interesting.
And I'm just starting that. So really interesting read.
It's crazy how people come up with these ideas.
Oh my gosh,
people are so
genius.
creative. Like,
Yeah.
it's nuts.
Yep.
I know. It's amazing. That's me.
Well, I have read 0 books since the last time.
And that's okay.
That is absolutely okay.
Well, I'm on a reading podcast.
What are you reading right now?
You're tied with me. I should just say that. I didn't read a book.
It's not
all
a
of last year.
competition.
Nope.
Just saying.
Yeah, well, okay. I'm currently reading Nuclear War, A Scenario by Annie Jacobson.
I'm not going to lie. You're not drawing me in with that one.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
This is the book that Lauren got me for Christmas, the lighthearted romp of a read. It opens with a scenario.
Are you saying that sarcastically?
Obviously.
Just wanted to make sure.
It's so I started it at like 9:00 at night, which is not a great time to read a book about nuclear war. But it's fascinating. The prologue opens up with...
Exactly what time would be the best time to read
I don't know, like when it's sunny outside and like things are happy, but not when it's like negative 10 degrees and dark.
Is this a nuclear winter we're experiencing outside?
Oh, Sam, you have no idea.
Okay.
So the prologue starts with like a scenario of like what it would actually look like if a nuclear bomb like detonated in Washington, D.C., and like the descriptions and everything that like goes with it. And this person is like Annie Jacobson, like insane research. She's interviewed like 40 people about like from like high like government organizations.
Did you
and
know
stuff
that
like
if you
that.
hide in a
And
fridge, you'll be fine?
that's not true. Indiana Jones might not be truly truthful.
Truly
There
true.
goes
Truly
all
truthful.
of my knowledge base.
There was a plant in the fridge in Wall-E.
That's true.
That
It
is
was
true.
the plant in
It's
the fridge
proof
in Wall-E.
that it does work.
Yep,
Yeah.
Pixar knows their
Mr.
stuff.
Wall-E. Yep.
But no, I've a couple chapters in right now, and it's really interesting. They like went back to like the Cold War and like Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and like talked about those bombs and like how those decisions like kind of have led up to where we are today, and just like the stuff that was planned back then is nuts. And just like reading about it. So if you're interested in that type of thing, which some of you might not be. I really like it, but that's probably the history.
But some
teacher in
people
me.
will be. So
I
that's
know.
what's
I
fun
was just
about
gonna
it.
say that's the beauty of this combo is we all have different things.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, and so my goal is to read that one along with The House in the Cerulean Sea to balance it out. So I have like nuclear devastation and we're all gonna die, and then a little blob who wants to be a bellhop.
Yay!
Who, by the way, my friend in New York, Melly, House in the Cerulean Sea is her favorite book, and she wanted me to mention that to
Oh,
you.
wonderful.
Yes. Anyway, that's what I'm reading.
I didn't go into what I am reading right now, should I?
Oh, do it.
Okay. Tools of Engagement by Tessa Bailey. Again, I got a bundle deal, so I'm listening to all the books in
We
a row.
listen, we don't judge.
Plus,
Yeah.
they sound like the kind that are like quick ones.
They're super
that
quick,
You just
yeah.
like kind of zip through and then
Right.
you're ready for the next one.
I don't need to like take a moment and be like, oh, I need to sit with this book. It's like,
To
okay,
recover
next.
after that intensity.
And if you have been
Different kind of
following
intensity.
along with this, I'm reading Shadow of Night by Deborah Harkness.
Which she now owns, so we don't have to stress
But
about
guess what,
library
people?
guilt.
I am
What?
on page 117.
Of?
I don't know.
Do you
Okay.
More than 0.
do you even like it?
I very much like it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I just had a stretch. I don't know. You know, you just go through those weird reading phases where like just you don't pick up that
No,
book.
I know.
But I'm
I've
picking
never,
it up.
I've never experienced that.
I am picking it up, baby.
I'm in that right now.
Anyways,
That one is part of a series.
It is the All Souls
I was
series.
just going to say, I know the name of that series.
Yeah, that's what I'm reading. There it is.
Excellent. Well, we didn't plan, we don't have a guest today or anything big like that. We wanted to do a quick 2024 in review, maybe some of our highlights, books that we've read or moments from the podcast. Can we do a quick, we didn't prepare for this, but favorite moment of the podcast from 2024
Oh my.
or favorite piece that we did? I'll start. I really liked Judge a Book by the Cover that Sam put together for us.
Mhm.
That was
That
a
was
really
fun.
fun
That was very
segment.
fun. That was really good. I want to, I don't know how it would happen, but like a way to do that for like the audio people too.
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
how you do that because
We
like a
kind
cover
of
is
described
very-
them a little bit, but
Yeah. But no, I did really like that. I thought that was a lot of fun. I really liked our guests that we had. I thought that was a really cool, interesting way to like change it up a little bit.
yeah.
And they all had
Goals.
different perspectives. Yeah, I definitely want to have more guests on, or like maybe returning guests. Who knows? But yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely want to keep doing that. I think that was my favorite part. Was just like the interviews and stuff.
Yeah, I really like guests, and then the trivia was fun. I thought that was kind of a fun, like, learn about books and do trivia. And
Oh, I'll do more
Competitive,
trivia
so-
any day.
yeah,
Excellent.
good question.
What if we-
Impromptu question.
What if we did like a book trivia question of the episode, where we asked the question at the beginning of the episode, and then like we answered it at the end, and then like the people listening could like, I don't know, try to guess or whatever.
Sure.
Sure.
This is the kind of
We have no rules here.
hot action you got going
Making
on
it up as we go.
Yeah.
inside baseball.
Oh,
What is
Yep.
that?
yes.
Next.
All right. Top books of 2024.
Yeah.
Kaylin's got a whole long list. I have a short
Oh,
list.
no, it's only 9.
You want to rattle them off?
Yeah, so I mean 9, but 3 of them are in a trilogy. So it's the Crescent City series from Sarah J. Maas, which looking back at the year, I could not believe that I read these this year. Like that seems like I read them a really long time ago. But so the first one is House of Earth and Blood, and then it's House of Sky and Breath and House of Flame and Shadow. If you're a fantasy reader, we've all geeked about Sarah J. Maas, and she's very fantastic. The last book is a little bit of a bummer based off of the time frame, but the story itself is really good.
Intriguing.
Yes, it's really, really good. It just happens too fast, basically. She just needed to have more sleeps in there because too much happens into such a short period of time. Speaking of SJM, she's like way behind on getting out like a release for what she's writing next. She's way behind. But anyways, like so anticipated any day now, basically. So that's kind of exciting
wow.
for what she's going to write next. It's
Yeah.
going to be a new Court of Thorns and Roses, but she just hasn't released the title or like who it's going to be about or anything.
Okay.
Yeah. So now I got them all giddy.
I hope it's about the cereal.
But
No, like a spoiler.
yeah, no. Okay.
Spoiler.
Moving on.
I also 2 books. It was One Dark Window and Two Twisted Crowns. That's a duology. Fantastic fantasy duology. It's so good the way it's written, the magic system, the world that it's set in, the characters. I really loved it. It was super good. So
Do you
that was
own this book?
I do. I own both of them.
Do you lend them out?
I absolutely do lend these out.
I might have them.
What? Anyways, you should read them.
Okay.
They're really good.
Okay.
The Silent Patient, we have talked about on this podcast before. Really twisty, good. End of the book's twist is like, oh, snap. And I love that in a thriller, and that I don't see it coming, and that it's like, you're actually shocked. You're not like, okay, yeah.
Even though you knew there was going to be a twist, you didn't know it was going to be that twist?
Exactly. Yeah. And then Yours Truly, I've talked about several times, by Abby Jimenez. Just a very cute, wholesome, adorable read that puts, I feel like, social anxiety into a really good perspective, and it's just very sweet.
Did you know, fun fact, she travels a lot, and when she does, she always signs books in the airport bookshops.
Yes.
So anybody that is a fan, if you're in an airport bookshop, double check.
And if
there
you're
might
also,
be signed editions in there.
And if you're local, it's very likely because she's from the cities. So if you're like flying out of
Minneapolis,
the cities, and if she ever like sees her, if you're like reading her book and like holding it in the airport, she'll like run after you and be like, "That's my book."
Okay, so we're all just gonna go to the Minneapolis airport and just like hold her book and be like.
I would freak out. I would freak out.
I would too.
And yeah.
Next time I have to abandon you at the airport, go on a trip. No, we know this.
Yeah. And then it was The Girl Who Was Taken was another 5-star read. That was the one with the forensic pathologist student, and then the whole mystery thriller with that one. I did talk about that one on the podcast too. I don't remember what episode, but that was a free one I just found on Amazon, and I was like, whoa, a 5-star read that was That's free crazy. On Amazon, and I read it on my Kindle, so that was kind of fun. And then, of course, would anyone else like to shout out my last?
Could it be The House on the Cerulean Sea?
The Vagina Bible.
Absolutely is. Which actually, realizing 4 of my books all have the word house in them.
Whoa.
House of Earth and Blood, House of Sky and Breath.
Well, that's a series.
Speaking of that book, I was having a conversation with Nathan, and we were talking about, and he said, you know, that book that Kaylin likes so much is really just the lighthearted version of 1984 by George Orwell. That's the very dark side of the government officials and the...
I've actually kind of wanted to read that book.
So that might be a fun challenge to check that book out and see how they correlate, and you can have a conversation with him about it on Saturday, and then you can follow up with us on the next podcast.
I would read that with you, Kay.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to read that one.
Ooh, a classic challenge.
Ooh. I like it.
I didn't like my last one, Frankenstein, so maybe this one would be better.
Yeah, I loved the creepy one I read.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
For the year, I just kind of want to... I did the Storygraph wrap-up one, and I thought it was interesting that for me, my average star rating was 4.05. I feel like I'm a very generous star giver. Like, if I'm entertained, 4 stars. Boom.
You made me smile, 4 stars.
Yeah.
You made me cry, 4 stars.
Yeah.
I would disagree with that because you know what you like. So I think you find books that you like. You're not afraid to critique a book.
That's true.
Like, you're not afraid to be really harsh and be like, 1 star. Suck that.
That is true.
So, like, I feel like you just know what you like.
That's true. That's a good point. Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah.
Me?
Yep.
All right. Top books. This was hard to pick the top books because I did not rate books. I just have a list of ongoing books, and to go back through and read it or pick them out was hard. So I was going to put the one you said, but I didn't because I knew you would. So I have 4. Well, one is a series.
What's at the House in the Cerulean Sea?
I was going to put that, but I knew you would.
Is it the Laurie R. King series that you don't know the name of?
That has been my favorite series for life, so obviously I could have put that down. But the Divine Rival series by Rebecca Ross, I really loved that series, and it was like just a happy... parts were happy, and it was just a really fun read. I was just really hooked on that series. My other favorites were Wayward by Amelia Hart, which was, I guess you would call it, there's magic. It's fantasy, but not the kind of fantasy, but it's like magic and a very women empowerment sort of story.
If you're interested, she has her review on our Instagram of that story.
That's true. So. I really liked that one. I really liked Keeper of Lost Things by Ruth Hogan because it was just a really sweet story, and it was one of those that just makes me...
Wasn't that one of our books on the Judge a Book by its cover?
It was. And I would have never found it if not for that. So thanks, Sam. It's one of those stories that you read and you're like, that's a good story. But then later on you think about it and you're like, that was a really good story. And it keeps like in your mind. So we've talked about a few others like that before. And my absolute favorite, which I was not expecting to like as much as I did, but it was the most beautifully written book I think I've ever read, is Go as a River by Shelley Reed.
Wow. Thanks to Cindy.
Cindy at the lake said, you have to read this book. And I was like, okay, that's all right. And I kind of put it off. And then I was going to be seeing her and I had to give it back. So I was like, fine, I'll read this book. Oh my gosh, I could not stop reading it. And it was so fantastic and beautiful.
I want to read that.
It's sad, it's happy, it's optimistic. It's just a really cool story. And the way she writes is phenomenal.
Fun.
Nice.
Good picks.
Yeah, very good picks.
Thank
My
you.
list is short. I put The Silent Patient on there as well. That's the book that really, I think, introduced
2
me.
votes for Book of the Year.
I is really good, and it's the first true audio book that I really listened to, and gave an earnest effort to, and I think it kind of encouraged me to keep listening to audiobooks, which I haven't done, but I want to. The Mistborn trilogy by Brandon Sanderson was by far my favorite series that I've read probably in the last... No, that's not true, because Sarah J. Maas.
I was like,
Wait.
No, that's not true, because Sarah J. Maas exists.
Wait.
But just the way that this book is written and the magic system and the way that they develop the character is... I would say parallel to Sarah J. Maas in that aspect. You feel really connected to the characters. Everything feels unique and new. And I can't wait to read more of his books. The problem is his books are so big that it takes a real time commitment for him.
and there's a lot
of them. And he doesn't stop writing.
No.
Since I've read his last book, he's probably put out 10 more. It's insane. He had one video where he was like, yeah, I went away on vacation for a weekend and I just happened to write a 500-page book. It's like, what? Who are you? Very good series. Can't recommend it enough. And then my absolute favorite book might be up there for my favorite book of all time.
What?
Project Hail Mary.
Oh, yeah.
By Andy Weir. I have this book on my shelf and I have looked at it so many times with the intention to just pick it up and start reading again. And I'm not a rereader.
But you're already ready to reread it.
But I'm so ready to get back into it. And I want to read it. And I also want to listen to it because I heard the audiobook is amazing. I had a really good conversation with your brother, Sam, about it because he listened to the audiobook for it. And I'm just I just want to hear the story again. And I want to read The Martian again by him. And I just love it so much. The way he builds the world is incredible. Project Hail Mary. Even if you don't like science fiction or science style books, I still read
The
it.
story itself is good.
Yes, it's amazing. And those are my top books of the year.
Nice.
What do you guys say as a general rule? Do you guys get some of your favorite books off of recommendations, or do you seek out the ones that you end up liking a lot?
Ooh.
Part of it for me, I think, is author. I'd gravitate towards author. If I've read a book by an author that I love, if they come out with another one, I will get that book again by that author. I'm pretty loyal to authors, I feel like. But also then I feel recently with Instagram and TikTok, I'll take a lot of recommendations there. If they give reviews, I'll be like, oh, that one sounds fantastic. Or it's an impulse buy at Barnes & Noble or at Main Street Books in Minot or the Thief River one or Grand Rapids one, I mean.
I'm definitely a recommendation person. If it's someone that I trust and I know that has good recommendations, then I'll actually look into the book and I'll believe them. Okay, yeah, this is a good book. You guys, I all trust for books. Close family and friends, I really trust for books. And I think, like you said, with TikTok and Instagram, that's expanded more, which is a blessing and a curse because now I have too many books to read.
It's just kind of puts more books into my orbit.
Yeah, and even if I don't necessarily like that book, there will be you might be interested in this book, and it's similar taste, and I'm able to find ones that way.
Yeah. What about you?
I would say really a mix of those things because I don't know. I feel sometimes I'm really open to recommendations and sometimes I am okay, that was good for you, but I don't know if that's for me. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I get
That's
that.
a little bit of a rebel in me or what.
I get that.
And sometimes I have 1,000 books on my list of books I
Yeah.
want to read, and then that's not the one I buy at the bookstore. I
No.
buy the one that for some reason is calling my name.
Yeah.
from,
Yep.
Exactly.
Good question,
So-
Sam.
that was a
Or
good
maybe
question.
we do a segment on a podcast one time and a book looks really good and you read it.
and I read it, and it
it's-
makes my top books of the
Yeah.
year. Yeah,
Good question. Good
that was a
question.
good question.
Good question.
Nice. Can we get an applause?
Oh, I got 4 buttons in front of me. Let's see if I press the right one. Wait a second.
First try.
I'm kind of disappointed it wasn't the.
Oh,
Next time I have completely
I'm not gonna
lost
get
it
on that
and I
one.
can't regain control, can you just drown me out with applause, please?
Sure. Yeah, I'll turn it up real loud.
Whoa!
Oh, now it just sounds like rain. Okay.
Ooh, that's kind of nice.
That is.
Back to it.
Okay.
Now should we finish up with our goals, hopes, and intentions?
Yeah.
For the next year.
I think so.
All right. Mine's really simple. I want to read 1 physical book a month. That's
I like it.
I just
like
need
it
to
too.
stay committed to reading, and I get into the habit of just like doing other things with my time.
What's
and-
It's
your
also okay.
What's your favorite time to read? Like bedtime or like on
Before
a
bed.
Saturday? Me too.
Before bed, but I have a hard time of like, I'm just sitting around, I'm like scrolling on like TikTok or watching a YouTube video or playing video games. It's just like all well and good, like spend time however you want, but also like I feel, this is probably more like a me thing, I feel guilty if I'm not reading, especially like with the podcast and stuff, but I like, once I read, like I enjoy it, but I just need to like get back into it. So I'm just going to read 1 physical book a month.
Nice.
That's it.
I like it.
I like it too.
Achievable. That's good.
I hope so.
Not lofty.
Well, I didn't have this one written down until Kaylin was talking about it when we were getting ready for the podcast, and that she was showing us her end of the year stats on Storygraph. And I was like, ooh, I want that. I'm going to try Storygraph more. So I'm going to commit to putting the books I read, documenting them on there, and actually rating them, because I have a really hard time rating books because I go back and forth, and I don't know.
Storygraph does an awesome job of doing 0.25, 0.5, or
That might make me feel better.
0.75.
That might.
I have a very hard time on Goodreads giving it a 4 or a 3. I'm like, there's a very big difference between a 3 and a 4 for
'cause I
me.
don't know that I even really like a 3.
Yeah, it's so like,
I really like a 4 and I love a 5, but there's a lot of in between ground there.
So it's nice to rate it on here for that.
And then my second goal is to explore some new genres, because I sometimes
mine
think
too.
I get into a little bit of a book rut, and I'm like, oh, I know I really, really like this, and so I'm just going to keep reading this, which is good, but sometimes I need to read different ones. So we ran into some good friends last weekend when we were out and we're visiting, and our friend Doug loves to read Westerns, and my dad loved to read Westerns, and we were talking about how they're like really good stories, and I was like, I should pick up a Western and read it. Or I should pick up, when you talked about Project Hail Mary, a true sci-fi kind of book. Like, that's not a book that I read. So doing that, and I thought one way I could do that is I could start with those two, but we have our little deck of cards we got from Abigail's Book and Gift Shop at Midtown Marketplace in Grand Forks. And I could just challenge
Are we
myself
drawing a card?
What is
by
it?
saying I could read a book with a couple on the cover. I feel like Kaylin
Abby
over
Jimenez.
here. I feel like Kaylin over here with her series could probably have one with a
There are
couple
couples on the cover.
I have an idea. I'll bring you the book this weekend. I think I have one. I don't know if they're necessarily called like a couple.
Is it about nuclear war?
No, there's a bomb on the cover of that one.
Okay.
There's not-
Couple of bombs.
one bomb.
Okay, it doesn't
Batman
say a
and
couple of
Little Boy.
people.
An A bomb. Get it? A bomb.
Oh.
Hey. Okay, you will bring me one with a couple on the cover?
Yeah, and you don't have to read it necessarily, but I
Are you
just
going to tell me more, or we'll disclose that at the next?
Yep.
Okay.
All right, cool.
Should I be
That's
nervous?
mysterious.
yes.
Oh boy.
That's
Okay.
mysterious.
Are you going to wrap it up with the white elephant things, and I have to pick the right one?
No.
Okay.
Mine is kind of similar with the genres, like the wanting to explore other areas I haven't really explored. For me, for sure, I want to read more nonfiction. I feel like that's an area that I don't read that often, or I don't
a
get
good
drawn to it. I like, again, like I was saying earlier, I love escaping. So sometimes for me, nonfiction, I'm not escaping. I'm,
like, confession here. When I try to read nonfiction, a lot of times I realize I have been reading and my brain has not actually processed any of the words I'm reading. I have used my eyes and my brain and read, but none of it. Yeah. Like, we're doing a book club. I'm part of a book club at school that we're reading for. And I was trying to read I was cramming a little bit because it was meeting this morning at 7:50. And sorry, Carla, may have been 2 chapters behind.
And someone gets a little rebellious with book clubs, if I remember right. That someone gets maybe a little bothered.
Rebel nature in me. And I was reading it. I truly was trying. And no words were entering into the consciousness. So I did get myself to get a few key points out of it and focused in so I could be respectable.
Good job.
But I would actually say that you read a lot of nonfiction because of your job with like medical stuff.
I do,
and
continuing it all the time. But
yeah, like the books that you got for Christmas, like that. Those are nonfiction books. Like, it's not like you have to read like a biography from this dead person for like 1800 years, or like, you're reading nonfiction all the time.
That's very true.
The kind of nonfiction you're seeking.
Yeah, I mean, I need nonfiction. I didn't.
Something you want.
Jen had some really good recommendations from our podcast that were nonfiction.
Yeah, but like starting with these, I'm really excited to read these because
we should try like once every couple of months to like read a similar like genre or something, like challenge, kind of like what we did with like the spooky season stuff.
Put this on our podcast goals because we have a podcast goal coming up section next.
Yeah, so like we could all do like a nonfiction month, or we could all do like a genre you would have never read before month kind of thing, and just like a book.
Yeah, sounds
like
good.
Nothing too crazy.
It.
Yeah, so nonfiction for me, just reading a little bit more of that. I want to read a historical fiction this year.
There's so many.
I don't go towards historical fiction very often, so I want to read a historical fiction. That's not a very high goal, but
have you read The Book Thief before?
No.
I feel like that would be a good place for you to start.
Okay.
I know a couple that I think you would like.
I know, yeah. I just know.
I love historical
last
fiction.
year I didn't read any, so that's why I just want to read one this year. So, or more. I mean, it's not like one and I'm done.
Well, you tried one Agatha Christie and you liked it.
Right, exactly.
But you might try it and go, not for me, and that's okay too.
Yeah. Right. So I want to read one of those. I want to read more of my TBR. Upstairs, my physical TBR. So I want to go through my shelf and read what I have.
The shelf. We all have a shelf.
I was put on an ultimatum that I can't buy any more books until I read.
Who would do that to you?
Well, maybe someone who lives with me who we have an entire bookshelf that's full and overflowing onto the floor in the office.
Sometimes books at the bookstore that just need you to take them home.
You're not having to convince me to buy more books.
Lauren, sometimes the books need to come home.
No, because we were cleaning up the apartment one time, and you're like, okay, you can't buy any more books until you read books. And I was like, all right, fine, I'll read a book. I think you had said like you have to read like 4 books or something like that. Oh yeah, I remember now.
4 book thing, yeah.
But I'm like,
and then
I'm 2 chapters into a nuclear war book.
Then you got a gift card for a bookstore.
And we're going somewhere that has Barnes and Noble.
I'm gonna read 4 books from now until Saturday morning.
Perfect.
Well, no, you could use
24 hours. No, that's buying books, Lauren. This is a discussion for off the pod.
I think you two need to take care of that off air.
Oh boy. Right. And then I just wanted to read 40 books.
Oh, you went with the number 40.
40.
Nice.
No reason. Just
I did not. I
kind of like
a number goal.
And last year I was pretty like, I want to do 52 because it was like my thing. I've explained it before.
How many did you do?
52.
Yeah.
I read 18,000 something pages.
That's crazy.
19,000.
That is crazy.
Well done.
Yeah, it was awesome. And so this goal this year with the number, it's not necessarily like I need to get 40. No. It's just like to keep me reading. Yeah.
I like it.
Those are my goals.
Nice.
Our other kind of our wrap up here is we'd like to keep going with the podcast, and we decided maybe if we set some goals for the new year, aspirations for podcast goals. Kaylin wants to make a sign.
I'm going to make a sign and put it up where we see it every time we come. So then we're like, oh yes, this is our goal.
Yes. So we've kind of come up with some new ones as we talk, but the first one that we had already discussed was to expand our social media.
Yep.
Because it's pretty scant at the moment.
Yep.
It is not any of our specialty. I mean, none of us are like, ooh, let's film this.
Yeah.
Let's make that.
Our TikTok is hot in the streets right now.
But we'll try.
We will do our best.
Yeah.
Yeah. The book reviews part, we could certainly do.
Yeah.
Those are fun to do. I like doing those.
Somebody just needs to make them. Sorry.
You could teach me how, and I would do it.
Okay.
Because I like doing that kind of thing.
Yeah. I do too. Anyways, that's our goal. Do you want to do recommendations? Do you guys have recommendations?
Do we have any other goals we want to talk about?
Oh, sorry, I didn't know. No,
Well, we have one more.
Yeah.
Or at least one we talked about. And stay tuned because we would like to go on an indie store road trip. Take paperback perspectives on the road.
PP on the go.
No, that's not what we're going with.
PP on the go.
You can look that up.
Hashtag mobile PP.
Maybe don't.
All right, Sam, turn on the applause and drown out
All
Ryan.
right, his mic is off.
Cut Ryan's mic.
Sam, did you
must
say
have some
look that up?
I said you can look that up or something like that. Or don't. I said.
Oh, boy. Okay, let's skip to recommendations after that.
Keelan, what was that book you read earlier about the hammer?
Hot and hammered.
Oh, yeah.
Is there PP on the go in there? All right, next book. Next
Okay.
recommendation.
Is it hot in here? Is it just me?
It's just a candle.
We do have a new candle that smells like antique bookshop.
Yeah.
Paper and leather and dust and amber.
Yep.
What?
That's what it says on there. Antique bookshop. Paper plus leather plus dust plus amber.
You know how
Oh, I
you want
heard
your-
hamber.
I heard
Hammer.
hammer.
I don't know
Good.
what
Speaking of
ham-
hammer,
I don't know about amber
Speaking
and what
of
that
hammer.
has to do with it, but Ryan, what's your recommendation?
Lauren and I, in our new year, we're on a health kick, and so we've been using an app called Lose It to track our calories. And I feel like it's actually been helpful and beneficial for the first week or so. Lauren's been doing it for a few more days than I have, and she's been awesome at it. I've been trying my best, but it has a bunch of stuff that you can enter in, like what food. It has like a bunch of brands and things. So like we get stuff from Aldi. It has like all the Aldi brand stuff on there, and it has like the calories pre-entered, so it's really easy to enter. And it has like a daily budget for you, and you can like set like a standard goal. You can be more intense, more relaxed, just based on whatever you're looking for. And so it's been really helpful, and it's been really good. What?
Can I say something?
What?
Okay, you said the name Aldi, and you said it correctly. I have a pet peeve. Can I share?
When someone says Aldi's?
It's not Aldi's. It's Aldi.
Yep, it's Aldi's or
Your voice
Qdoba's.
got really high when you said that.
Because it drives me nuts.
Yeah,
I feel
when
like
someone
you're
says like
singling out Randy here, and I'm sure Randy's a big listener to this podcast.
Or
So
Rod.
or Rod, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
I don't think Randy.
Oh,
knows
boy,
what
I made some
podcasts
enemies
are.
here today.
Now that we've
Randy
offended all of our
is
listeners.
our number one listener.
No,
It just bothers
that
me.
drives me nuts too. And whenever Rod says it, it's really hard for me not to correct him because he always says like, "Yeah, like we had Qdoba's," and I'm like, "No, you didn't. You had Qdoba.
Anyways,
You didn't
sorry.
go
We
to
should
Aldi's.
maybe move on.
You went to Aldi."
But that's my pet peeve.
The app is called Lose It, and it's very good.
Lose it.
I have kind of
I was gonna do it, but I didn't want to make anyone mad.
oh boy. I have kind of a related one actually. We got a flyer in the mail for a food service
For food?
for a food service. Food.
Food.
Try it.
Have you heard of this new thing called food?
I think this making a podcast without a plan is backfiring, guys.
Hey, I was all
I don't know about this. Anyway,
I wrote down, like,
it
4
is called
things.
Hungry Road, and you can get meals and you can get groceries, and it's very whole food based and very health oriented for choices. And you can, for example, I'm working really hard to do a lower sodium diet, and you can sort by that.
Oh.
And we got our first order this week because we decided to try it for 2 weeks because they sent us, the try it for 2 weeks at
Yeah.
some phenomenal amount off. And
You
we had
probably got 10 HelloFresh coupons to counteract that one coupon
Yeah.
you got from a different food service.
So we got it on Tuesday this week, and it came with some groceries, some vegetables, some meal plans. You get to pick what you want. And we had our first meal of it tonight, and it was absolutely amazing. We had a short rib
Oh,
French dip.
yum.
And it was
sounds amazing.
so good. We made the comment like we would not have been able to go out anywhere and have this. And it was for a reasonable amount of calories, whole food, really reasonable amount of sodium. Hungry root. So
That's really
I'm sure they'll
interesting.
start sending me coupons that I can give people a discount. So don't sign up till you check that out with me.
Till you got a
So,
coupon.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't know how long we'll keep it and how much it'll be. You know, we're still on the deeply discounted, so we'll see what
Right.
happens when we're on the regular if we keep doing it. But for the moment, it's really fun to try. So that's mine.
Nice.
I have 2.
Oh, try hard.
Is that okay?
Of course.
I added one during the podcast because I had to. The first one, Sam and I went to Fargo for New Year's Eve just to spend the day because we were supposed to go hang out with our friends, but they ended up getting sick. So we didn't go near the germs. So we just hung out in Fargo ourselves, and we went to Brewhalla, which is connected to Drecker Brewing Company. And it's just a fun little market in Fargo. And I got this fun print at a store called Unglued there. Sam, you want to hold it up?
Sam, hold it up.
But yeah, it's just a fun little market. They have like the what's the dairy place in Carrington called?
Cows and Co.
Cows and Co. They have Cows and Co. Duchessa Gelato. They have this gross fish place, but some people would be into that.
Didn't you say they also had
Not beer and fish because that's one of my favorite places.
No,
in
it's
Fargo.
like the oyster slippery gooey stuff.
Oh, okay.
They had like
I'll take the ones that come with beer and are breaded.
Yeah.
they had like Marty Gellner's beer there. You said that
Yeah.
was really good.
yeah.
Marty.
What was that called again? Do you remember?
It was for like breast
Play
cancer.
by play.
Play by play. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
It was for
That's
all
cool.
proceeds go to like breast cancer
Yeah,
foundations and
research.
stuff.
some specific foundation.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's.
If you're not familiar with who
delicious.
Marnie Gellner is, she's one of our favorite sports broadcasters with Minnesota Sports.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
No Dak.
So yeah,
legend.
it was
it's just, yeah.
it's a market connected to a brewing company. You don't have to be 21 to go to like the market, and also you don't have to be 21 to be in the brewery until after hours. After hours, you need to be 21. But it's just a fun atmosphere. And then yeah, the print I got it's from Trisha Thompson Adams. That's the artist's name. So yeah, it's just like a really fun atmosphere and fun to hang out there for a bit. And
I can't remember if you mentioned, but it's also a hotel. Did you say
Oh,
that? So
Really?
if you're from afar and you want to spend a little bit of time there or just in Fargo, they have I think 3 or 4 levels of hotel rooms as well. So.
and they seem really nice.
And if you come to Fargo, that's only an hour drive from us, and we can come visit you and do a PP on the go.
Hashtag PP on the go.
Hashtag
Thank you.
PP on the go.
We'll see you there.
Round
Make it
of- I
trending.
know, please.
PP on
Make
the
sure you rate this one PG-13, Sam,
Why?
because we are hot and hammered.
Okay. I mean, the whole thing started with a swear word that we made Sam start over. That was like our very first word that happened. It wasn't
No,
even
we'll
me
keep it
this time.
Who would
for the
do
record.
that? Despicable.
My second recommendation is
Oh no.
I'm ready. Okay, so Sam and I watched this show 3 years ago. 3 or 2?
I think 2.
2. And it's on Apple TV Plus. You guys have seen it too.
Yes.
And it's called Severance.
Oh.
And the second season is coming out in 2 weeks. And I am so excited. Sam and I rewatched the first season because like it was 2 years ago. So we wanted to rewatch it. We watched it in 3 days. There are 9 episodes and they're all an hour long. So we binged that.
Yeah, Laura
hard.
and I just started rewatching it because everything that I've seen on the second season, like everyone who's seen it, it has 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. Everyone's like, this is the best TV that's like ever been made.
So premise, for those who have not heard of it or seen it, basically it's set in the present world and it's like contemporary, but there's a new procedure it's called severance. And so when you elect to have this surgery done, they insert a chip into your brain and it separates your work self from your personal self. So when you're at work, you don't know anything about your life outside of work. So you could be a serial killer or you could be the nicest person on planet Earth and you have no idea who you are. You leave work, you have no idea what goes on at work. So you don't know what
How do you know where to go?
it you lose your memory when you're in the elevator down to the
Ooh.
floor. And so basically the story is like the parallels of the innie, which is what the person at work is called, and the outie, which is the person outside of work. The parallels of them trying to figure out what the heck is this company and what are they doing, because they're kind of strange and corrupt, and you're not really
the first episode I forgot sets it up real well with just like, what
is this?
It's so good.
So good.
And it's on
So
Apple
good.
TV?
Yes.
I think it's also on Amazon Prime, I heard. I think you can also...
I also saw that if anyone has a Roku, the Roku TV channel or Roku TV app, something on there, they have the whole first season for free. So,
and I like, this is a show I would recommend to everyone, regardless of the genre you like. Like, it is so good.
Yes.
So good.
Okay.
I'm so excited. Oh, and also they have a thing called Waffle Party.
Yes.
And so when the first day that it's coming out, Sam and I are going to have waffles and have a waffle party.
That's cute.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. Also, they have melon parties.
Lauren, can we have a waffle party?
Yes. That was my recommendation.
Nice.
So everyone watch Severance. So
Very
we can
good.
talk about it.
Yes.
All right. Well, Kaylin, do you want to shout out our social media, which we're going to become more active at doing?
So
Hot in the streets, people are saying.
it's Instagram. We have paperback_perspectives, X paperback_pod, TikTok, which we will work on that one, paperback.pod, YouTube Paperback Perspectives, and then if you want to let us know about anything you thought about on the things we talked about today or past episodes, or like if you have anything that like a question or wanted to add just a book recommendation for us, you can always email at paperbackperspectives@gmail.com.
Paperback Perspectives pod, isn't it? Or is it Paperback Perspectives?
it's
Sam-
up on the screen right now. Just read off.
Sam has pod up there.
I have not that.
Oh gosh.
We'll put it in the notes.
We'll put
It'll
it
be in the
notes.
description.
But if you want to let us know on either email, or you can also kind of like message us on social medias and stuff. So
Or if you know us personally, just reach out.
Yep.
Yeah.
You can tag us with the username and make sure you also include our hashtag PP on the go.
no, don't do that, please.
No.
Please, we don't want to
no.
be associated with that.
That is Ryan
No,
only.
no.
with that.
And Sam.
I would like to say thank you to everyone. I gave him the look.
I got the teacher look.
I gave him the look. It's okay. All right. We would like to thank everyone who listens, because without you, this isn't happening. And we've made it to episode 10 somehow. So thank you to our listeners. Thank you to our engineer and lights,
And
camera,
Producer.
action.
We really love hearing from you. So
We
like,
do.
if you're like, oh, I don't know if they would want to hear, like, no, we love hearing. Like, it's so fun to
It
hear.
is.
Like, oh, we listened, and it's like, it's fun to hear you guys.
Oh, I have a fun thing. This is random. Today in the hall, at my job, which I do remember where I work and what I do, I have not been part of this show.
You have not been severed.
I was in the hall, and a person I don't know, but they had a badge, so it's okay, was waiting to go into a room, and she had a Moggers and Quinn book bag. And I said, oh, isn't that a fun bookstore? And she's like, yes, I went there and I never wanted to leave. I've only been there once. And I was like, me too, but it was so much fun. So we had a little connection there. But
And then you slipped a Paperback Perspective
well,
bookmark into our
thought
bag.
about it, but I didn't know how to really do that casually.
Damn.
So if I
Next time
I see her, I might throw that out there. All right. Thank you to Sam for everything that he does. Thank
Thanks,
you to
Sam.
Lauren for being our merchandise coordinator.
Thanks,
and
Lauren.
I do have one more present to add. Lauren made us really cute Christmas ornaments with our paperback perspective on it, and they were awesome.
Yeah, there's a picture of us and a logo on it, and it was super awesome.
Yeah.
So thank you for that, and for all that she does to keep us going. And we'll just get her to rein in on the comments a little bit, and then we'll be good. So thank you to everybody.
Just toss that in there.
All right.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Until next time.
Until
The
next chapter.
This is Paperback Perspectives.
PP on the go.
no.